Now what? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Agent A Good Tano here, the internet's maskiest music nerd, and I want to know if you have looked outside your window today. Alright, so at the time of me recording this video, it is April 18th, which is Record Store Day, which means that Look Outside Your Window is finally officially out. Although I guess at the time of you watching this video, it's actually April 19th, so it's the day after, but whatever. Patrons saw it on April 18th. Anyways, the record is finally out after what seemed like the longest wait ever. I believe it was somewhere around 18 years, so we're working on like Tool time here. We finally have it, and in today's video, I am going to be giving you guys my track-by-track review of the record. So, just for anybody that's been living under a rock for years and years now, Look Outside Your Window is a studio record that was put together by Corey Taylor, Jim Root, Sid Wilson, and Sean Crahan. They created this record all the way back in 2008, while also recording for All Hope Is Gone with Slipknot. Both records were recorded in completely separate studios and have almost nothing to do with each other. And believe me when I say that this is not a Slipknot record. They have made that abundantly clear. This is its own thing entirely. Now, when these members would speak about this project, they would put heavy emphasis on how experimental this record is. Now, I, alongside many others who are very much interested in hearing what this sounds like, have been waiting on it for a long time, and specifically within the last 10 years, there has been more of a buzz about this record than ever before, and we were even supposed to get it right around the end of the We Are Not Your Kind cycle. However, due to all of the big fun stuff that happened around 2020, we ended up having that delayed, and then more delays, and then more delays, and eventually we got confirmation that it would drop in 2026, specifically on Record Store Day. And that day finally came, and here we are.
Oh shit, here we go again.
So, for as long as I've been talking about and covering what this record would be, I always said that I was super excited and very interested in it because I love the weirder experimental stuff that Slipknot have been playing with, specifically in the last decade or so. Everything from the interludes and intros on the Grey Chapter, right up through the same on We Are Not Your Kind, and even some stuff on the End So Far really kind of caught my ear, and it seems like the older I get, the more into those weird, atmospheric, noise-manipulated, very, very strange tracks I get. They just scratch an itch in my brain for some reason. So, I had a feeling that I would enjoy Look Outside Your Window, but did I? Well, let's dive into the record. We will go track by track, and I'll go in depth on each one, and we'll see exactly how I feel about Look Outside Your Window. So, track number 1, 11th March. We have this interesting pinging intro that does honestly sound like a keg being hit on, and that is followed by a quick and dirty bass drum and snare combo, which eventually dissolves into a very tribal-esque, almost battle march style beat. Corey starts singing softly alongside some coinciding synthy guitar notes, all while the marching beat still holds strong in the background. And then it disappears, and we get a very distorted guitar riff that also abruptly stops while Corey comes back in singing alongside the pinging keg sound from the beginning. Now, when the marching beat drops back in, we get a nice mixture of everything that we've heard from the song so far. The distorted guitar riff is back, and everything is melding together really, really nicely here. Oddly enough, I could definitely see this becoming a Slipknot track. Like, I feel like the members of Look Outside Your Window could have taken this to the studio for the recording of All Hope Is Gone, and we would have ended up with something that definitely feels like an XIX or a Death Because of Death or a My Pain. It has a very, very similar vibe to those tracks. It just feels a little less full and a little more unpolished. Definitely a solid start to the record. Now that brings us to track 2, which is Moth. Here we start out with some slowed down audio of what sounds like a clock ticking or maybe a metronome. One of Jim's riffs eventually comes over it, and we are quickly spun into what sounds like a very 90s or early 2000s 2000s alternative rock song. Something that I found interesting was during the actual beat of the song, the snare drum starts to double up on itself and kind of goes out of time, and then eventually it just becomes like a ghost note of itself and finds its way back into being layered up perfectly, and you not even noticing that it's there. And they do that throughout the song, and I just thought that that was something kind of interesting, because upon the first listen, when you first start to hear the doubling up, you're like, what is going on there? But it does eventually find its way back, and it all makes sense. I really like where this song goes once Jim's riff comes back in and gets manipulated by Sid. It's just a really cool thing. There's also this very cool piano part that is kind of hiding behind the background of all of the other instruments that eventually does get its own shine when the louder parts fall off. It's just kind of this valley of noise, and then you get just the piano, and then we are right back into all of the other louder instruments. The song does sound like it's starting to wind down with another very cool riff from Jim and a very catchy hook from Corey, and then we are put right back into the middle of it for round two. I did enjoy this song, and I still have the "I'm gonna walk away" line stuck in my head right now as we speak. I really think Jim shines here, and with absolutely no guitar solos, which is the way that it should be. Track 3, we have Dirge, or Dirge, or Durg, Durga, Durgy. Pretty sure it's probably Dirge, but whatever. Starting off, we have another cool riff with some very clown-like stacked percussion. Some broken piano notes linger behind the foundation of the song, and with every little hint of them, I'm left wanting more. Corey takes on a much more aggressive vocal style here than we've heard on the record so far. It almost has like a hip-hop element to it. And the song quickly finds its way to a very pretty but almost overwhelming area where everyone is making noise. But before you know it, we are back into a darker area with that slam poetry style vocal pattern from Corey, and emptiness as far as the music goes. The song is very bouncy and back and forth with these two elements. It is a fun one, and it's really fun to try to pick up all of the little things that are going on in the background here. I absolutely love the piano aspects of this track. It is very nice. Track 4 is Christina, and it is literally just Christina Scabbia from Lacuna Coil talking, so I don't really have much to say about this one, which takes us to track 5. Is Real. Two separate words, not Israel or is real. It is real. And this is really my favorite track from the record. This is a good one. This one actually features Christina doing vocals, not just talking, and I've got to say that in the beginning with Corey and Christina wailing together, it is incredible, and the keyboard with this do 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 is beautiful and haunting, and I really enjoy it. I really like Corey's vocal pattern in the first verse on this one, and Christina floating in over it in the background is just mwah. It also sounds like Sid is getting a little more shine in this one, which I'm always into. Jim starts matching the keyboard notes from earlier and adding to them just a little bit with this solo is wonderful. It's not too much. It's not too little. It is a Goldilocks solo. It's just right. Christina speaking over the music towards the end of the song with this almost warning, kind of panicky, alert style outro is peak. And I don't care what anybody says. This is the song. This is the top song from the record. It's my favorite. It's just a great song. Is Real is Real. All right, so we are at track number 6, and this is Away. We've got a nice, funky little bass line to open this, followed by some more very dry and very stacked clown drums. The dude definitely does have his own style. Corey's vocals feel very far away in this one. This is a really spacey song throughout, and I guess that makes sense because Corey keeps asking, how far enough is away? Which, saying that out loud doesn't make much sense, but I promise the way that he delivers it in the song, it does make sense. Not a whole lot to say about this one outside of that. So, track 7, we have In Reverse. No atmospheric intro for this one. We are jumping straight into Corey yelling. The chorus on this one is quite nice, with just a little two-liner from Corey repeating, I want to be the one to break your heart, in a very catchy manner, might I add. Big Stone Sour vibes from Corey on this one. I will say that this one does feel like it drags on for just a little bit too long because it is a 4-minute track, and really the only thing that stood out about it to me is the chorus, but maybe that's just me. All right, track 8. Toad. Shout out Toad. So we are back to the atmospheric intros, and we actually get an acoustic guitar on this one for the first time on the record, I believe. This leads us into Corey. I think it could be Clown doing vocals here. I've re-listened to it a couple of times, and I really can't tell. If it is Corey, then it is heavily distorted, and there are some crazy filters here. And if it is Clown, then that is dope. I love that. Corey eventually does, for sure, take the lead on vocals with some nice unfiltered cleans, and this one is pretty hypnotic. The song is definitely on the longer side at a little over 6 minutes, but as I was listening, I really zoned out. It felt like I was in a trance-like state, and by the end of the song, I realized that I had been sitting there with my eyes closed, and the song had completely passed me by. Very, very vibey, and I could definitely see myself playing this on a nice scenic drive or on some sort of stroll through the wilderness. So, track 9, we have Juliet. I'll be honest, this one just wasn't for me, which is funny because I could definitely see this being a lot of people's favorites from this record. For me, I think that it's like a little too digestible. A lot of easier listeners will be able to grab onto this one, but for me, it was just a little too straightforward and not weird enough in comparison to the rest of the record. It's not bad by any means, it's just not the one for me. And now we are at track 10, which is the final track, and it is titled You Can't Stop This. And we are back to what I feel like could have easily ended up being another Slipknot interlude type track. Just like the first track of Look Outside Your Window. Coincidence? I think not. This one is pretty spacey and dry as well, with repeated chants of you can't stop this even if you try. And I do believe that Clown is adding to the vocals here for sure. And this entire track has a pretty sinister underlying tone to it. And then it ends. It just ends. And that's it. Look outside your window. 18 years of what seemed like a myth and rumors, and we finally have it, and it is just about exactly what I thought it would be. Now, a lot of Slipknot fans are not going to be into this whatsoever. It is not a Slipknot record, which is why it's not a Slipknot record. But then again, a lot of Slipknot fans hate on everything Slipknot does anyway, so who gives a shit? This was a fun listen, and at the very least, it was interesting, and I mean, what more could we ask for? This record does genuinely feel like a journey, and while it isn't heavy in the slightest, it does feel visceral. It feels like it's surrounding you. It feels full and empty at the same time. It feels super claustrophobic at times, while other times feel extremely spacey and open. It feels very underproduced and dry, but it also feels precise and pretty. Now, I'm not going to give this record a ranking or anything, but I will give it a recommendation. I think that you should listen to it, especially if you are a veteran Slipknot fan that grew up with the band and have come to appreciate the more experimental, weird ambient stuff from the last few records. If you feel like you have aged with Slipknot and not just like with Slipknot, then you might find some stuff that you'll appreciate here, if that makes any sense. I will still absolutely say that Is Real is my favorite track on the record, and I will also say that I'm very glad that this record finally exists and is out there. So, now it's time to hear from you guys. Have you heard Look Outside Your Window yet? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What do you think about Look Outside Your Window? Please drop your thoughts down below in the comments section, and I will meet you down there for a general discussion. I'm pretty excited to hear what you guys have to say about this one. And also, hey, we're getting extremely close to 200,000 subscribers on this channel, so if you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing. I would definitely appreciate it. And with all of that being said, until next time, this has been AJ Good here at the House of Masks, telling you to say no to drugs and alcohol, and yes to looking outside your window, and we will see you guys in the next one. Hey! Want some masks? Well, I've got good news for you. Because for just $5, you could be entered to win masks from my collection. That's right, all $5 and higher patrons are now entered to win a monthly giveaway. That means once a month, I'm drawing a random name out of my patrons, and you guys are walking away with a free mask. Could be Slipknot, could be Myers, could be anything that's in the House of Masks. So go sign up today, support the House of Masks, and automatically be entered to win a free mask. New winner drawn on the 1st of the month, every month.